But one very impressive thing about XRP is just how long it's lasted, how many times it's come under attack. And I think that Ripple, it's this Lindy effect. The longer it seems to exist, the more sort of strength it gathers, the greater the network effect is.
Dan, welcome to Markets Daily.
My pleasure to be here.
All right, everyone is talking about these XRP ETFs, ProShares debuting three
They
XRP
are. Everybody's
ETFs.
talking about them.
I mean, everyone
I
on
don't know
X,
about
the
that.
news world, everyone on X
Or
is
I
everyone.
think there are a whole bunch of people that are definitely not talking about them, but you and I are going to be talking about them.
We
Okay.
really are. So,
Yeah.
okay, why don't you tell me about the people who are not talking about them? Who is not excited
Well,
about XRP
on
ETFs?
crypto Twitter, of course, I mean, any Bitcoin, certainly Bitcoin Maxi, any Bitcoin or ETH or Solana focused person. I mean, as you know, I mean, the space can, carve itself off into its little groups. And
Mhm.
the XRP army has been a thing for quite a few years. And I think there are quite a few people out there who are not part of that army who sort of don't believe in XRP, mostly because it's centralized, and I think people have problems with the way that it was distributed over the years. Um, but I would say, the one very impressive thing about XRP is just how long it's lasted, how many times it's come under attack. Do you remember? Was it last year or 2 years ago? Gensler banned. We basically attacked them, and then they got taken off all of the exchanges. I think
I
except
vaguely remember this.
yeah, they were actually pulled off. XRP was pulled off the exchanges. I think it stayed on Kraken. It's one of my portfolio companies, and maybe Uphold as well. I can't remember if it was one or two, but and then they bounced back. And I think that Ripple, it's this Lindy effect. The longer it seems to exist, the more sort of strength it gathers, the greater the network effect is. And so I think it's pretty impressive. I mean, the first trades I did in cryptocurrency in 2012 were in Bitcoin and in Ripple at the time, through Uphold. At the time, it was called BitReserve. So I, I understand people have different opinions about the fact that it's not decentralized. And I think people also question whether, how much is it really used in payments? And I would argue, and I think, and again, I haven't done enough work on this, and I am by no means a big XRP guy, but I do respect it for its ability to survive. And I think what it's turned itself into, the company, Ripple, has turned itself into, in a way, a holding company, a conglomerate of assets within the digital asset ecosystem. So I think there's value there, and I think there probably are quite a few people anticipating the XRP ETF lasting, also because it's made in America now, right? That's another thing we know with this administration. If it's made in America, so I think, and you have to take your hat off to Brad Garlinghouse for having gotten involved with Trump and still very involved, and I think has done a lot of hard work for the space itself, doing battle with the previous SEC administration. He's been a pretty strong advocate for the space itself overall. So
You said your first trades were in Bitcoin and XRP, your first crypto trades. Um, what made you interested in XRP all those years ago?
well, it wasn't anything more than it was just that was what was available, and it was super duper liquid. My gold company that I'd founded called GBI, Gold Bullion International, we were the first place in the world where you could buy or sell gold to buy or sell Bitcoin or Ripple. And it was done on the BitReserve platform, which today is Uphold, the Uphold wallet. In fact, you
Mhm.
can still buy gold to sell Ripple or the opposite on Uphold. And it's still my company that's behind that. So it was extremely liquid. And I remember having a lot of fun with not a lot of money, just, driving the price in the liquid markets up. It was trading at 1/10 of 1 cent. So, getting it to 0.2 of 1 cent. I mean, today it's $2, right? Um, so it was just, I don't know. It was liquid, and it had the interface was actually really nice. You could see all of the amounts of Ripple that were offered, and you could just buy pretty much as you wanted at that time. I mean, it was so it was more of an experimental thing
Yeah.
at the time. Yeah, I wasn't thinking long-term hold. I'm going to make 1,000x. No,
Yeah.
there was no XRP army.
You could have been the person to start the XRP army, Dan.
Yeah, and it wasn't to be though. It wasn't to be. I wish I'd been that smart to tell you the truth. I wish I'd bought and held it all at 1/10 of 1 cent.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people who look back at what they knew and what they had access to 10 years ago and wish they made some different decisions, but we're all in this together. It's okay. I think everyone's doing just fine considering.
Well,
Yep.
I would just say the motto for me, at least the one that I tell my analysts, is it's never too late to do the right thing. Which means just because you didn't buy it at 1/10 of 1 cent doesn't mean you couldn't buy it at 1 cent or 2 cents or 10 cents. Meaning, if you believe in something, never give up on it. I wasn't sure I really understood Ripple, so it wasn't so much that I could believe in it in a way, right? It was hard for me to understand how it worked and the dynamic, and the balance sheet was a little opaque. But yes, so we digress a little bit.
Dan, thank you so much for joining Markets Daily today. And I know that
Thank
you're going to
you.
be with us at Consensus in Toronto next month. So we'll see you there.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a good day.
If you want to hear more from Dan Tapiero, he will be with us at Consensus in Toronto from May 14th to 16th. You can get your tickets at consensus2025.coindesk.com, and we'll see you there.